Welcome to the reboot of Chronically Fierce. My name is Victoria, but you can call me V. I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I'm a survivor. I'm just that girl. And I'm trying to raise this next generation with a lot of love, faith, some grit, and a little bit of fire. Today's episode is one that I've been holding close to my heart for months. It's something a lot of us don't talk about enough. What it's like raising Black kids in the suburbs. Because listen, the dream looks good on the outside, but the reality, baby, sometimes it's a little more complicated than we'd like to admit. It's definitely more complicated than I thought. Going from the hood to the burbs has not been the smoothest transition. The dream cost us something. It cost all of us something. I grew up in North Carolina. I grew up in a small town close to the beach, Wilmington, North Carolina. And I was raised by my mom. My mom knew what hard work was. My mom is a Marine. She's from Lumberton, North Carolina. And I grew up in downtown Wilmington, where you really didn't have to look far to see the struggle, but you didn't have to look far to see strength either. We didn't have much growing up, especially when I compare to what I have now, but we had plenty and we had community. I knew my neighbors, we looked out for each other. There was always music, laughter, lots of food, somebody cooking on the grill, somebody's grandma yelling from the porch. That was love. And to me, that's home. So when I became a mom at a very young age, I had my daughter when I was 19. I told myself that my daughter would never have to struggle the way I did. I worked, I sacrificed. My husband and I, we planned, we strategized. Thank goodness my husband sacrificed and served this country. He put in the time. We saved our money and we eventually bought our first home right here in Fort Worth, Texas. We bought a home in a great neighborhood, $500,000. We made sure to look for the good neighborhood. You know, the one with the high-rated schools, clean park, quiet nights. We wanted out of the hood. We wanted out of the struggle, and we made it. At least that's what we thought. We thought we made it. We thought everything was going to be great. We thought we sacrificed and worked so hard so our kids could have better. But what we didn't anticipate was the quiet isolation. I didn't see it coming. I didn't see that quiet isolation that comes with being the only one creeping in. I didn't see that quiet isolation that comes along with being one of the few Black families in a predominantly white neighborhood. I didn't anticipate that, and we didn't factor that part into our plan. It's already hard blending families, but when we walked into the school events and it's all smiles, but our kid is the only one. When we go to parent-teacher night and we're the only Black family there and our child is the only Black student in that classroom, or we're the only Black family in restaurants or the only Black family in all of these predominantly white spaces, our children being the only Black ones on the soccer team, the only Black kid at the sleepover, the only Black kid in the AP class. And no matter how good the grades are, no matter how polite or well-spoken they are, there's always that invisible layer. Like they have to prove that they belong here. We did everything we could to keep them grounded. Black movies like The Color Purple, Poetic Justice, A Different World, teaching them the electric slide, going to Black churches. We really made it a point to be in Black spaces whenever they weren't at school. We got active, involved in our church in an attempt to build community around Black spaces. We read Langston Hughes and learned about Assata Shakur and Malcolm X, but it still wasn't enough. Because what you cannot fully teach, what you're not surrounded by. You can't teach what you're not immersed in. Now, here's where it gets messy. My daughter, who is a freshman in college, who has always been in predominantly white spaces, is now at a HBCU. And y'all, I couldn't be more proud. I'm proud that she chose an HBCU. Now, it took some encouragement, and we went and visited, but she fell in love. And I thought, yes, Lord, finally, she's going to be surrounded by people that look like her. People who get her, people who understand the jokes, the music, the slang, the shared experiences. But then my phone starts ringing and the texts start coming. Mom, I'm not happy. Mom, I'm not making any friends. I'm having a hard time socially. It's just a little too much for me, Mom. I feel really out of place here, Mom. I think I want to transfer. I want to go to A&M. I want to go to UTA. Conversations about HBCU starting to dwindle in her first 8 weeks of college totally did not calculate that. I did not factor that into the plan. How do you explain to your child? How do I explain that the sacrifices all came with the cost, but I didn't want my kids to have to pay? This isn't just about family choices. This is about systems. Systemic racism taught us that the closer we got to whiteness, the safer we'd be. It told us better schools were in white neighborhoods. They told us to code switch, to be respectful, to fit in. And now we have a generation of kids caught between two worlds. Too Black for the suburbs, too suburban for the culture. Like, how did we get here? And here I am sitting here wondering, did we chase safety so hard that we forgot to protect their sense of belonging? Did we chase safety so hard that we forgot to protect their Blackness? That's what generational trauma looks like sometimes. It's not loud. It's really quiet. It's in those moments that my kid calls crying from her dorm room, saying that she feels out of place in a crowd full of people where she should feel like she's at home. When I don't have the answers, I go back to my faith, because what else can I do? It's being a mom in this world. It's definitely spiritual. Proverbs says, train up a child in the way that they should go. I just didn't realize how hard the way was going to be. So I pray. I pray that my kid remembers who they are when the world tries to tell them otherwise. I pray that the seeds my husband and I planted, all those talks, those Sunday mornings, those family dinners, that they'll take root in her heart. And I remind myself that grace goes both ways, for her and for me. Because parenting in 2025 as a Black woman, a mother in a blended family, a millennial, it's not easy. I'm not the only one experiencing this. I have friends here in the Metroplex who have similar stories. There are so many of us Black parents, Black millennial parents in the suburbs, trying to hold on to our roots while planting new seeds. It's hard trying to find that healthy balance of not forgetting where we came from, but also trying to set an example and show our children a better life. So maybe it's time we stop keeping quiet. Maybe it's time we show up in our local schools, talk about representation. Maybe we should start mentorship programs that connect suburban Black kids with folks, with people from our communities who can pour into them. Maybe we build our own spaces again, community centers, youth groups, family events, where our kids can feel Black joy and not just learn about it. Because Black culture isn't a weekend trip. It's not a Sunday service. Black culture is a way of life, and it's time we take it back. I would be lying if I said this is just about family. This is about the world we're living in right now. There are people that are actively trying to erase our stories, banning books, watering down our history, making diversity sound like a dirty word. Let me tell you something. Our story cannot be erased. We survived slavery, segregation, redlining, and still came out shining. Our faith, our brilliance, our resilience, our excellence, it runs too deep. So yes, I'm tired, but I'm also fired up, because if my child's gonna live in this world, I'm gonna make sure she knows how to fight with faith and walk with purpose. To the parents out there listening, the ones who are doing their best to raise good kids in a complicated world, I see you. I feel you. I understand you, and I hear you. If you're questioning whether you did enough, you did. And I'm talking to myself. If you're scared that your child won't find their people, they will. If you're wondering how to bridge that gap, start by talking, listening, and letting them know you understand. We can't control the world, but we can control the love that lives in our home. All right, y'all, that's it for the reboot of Chronically Fierce. If this spoke to your spirit, please share it with another parent who might need to hear it. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, where we keep these conversations going. Real stories, real talk, and a whole lot of faith. And listen, if you have resources, organizations, or ideas that can help us raise this next generation with confidence and culture, please drop them in the comments. We're not just raising kids, we're rebuilding our community. Stay grounded, stay grateful, and as always, stay fierce. My name is Victoria, but you can call me V. I'll catch you next time.